Hi everyone, it's me. Welcome to this house. Today we are exploring the life and times of one of Hollywood's most enduring icons, Marilyn Monroe. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode. In 1926, Norma Jeane was born in Los Angeles, California. She grew up primarily with her mother, Gladys, who struggled with bipolar disorder. Her father, a traveling salesman, was rarely around, and her parents split when she was only 2 years old. Throughout her childhood, she would be shuffled around from relative to foster home to orphanage. At age 6, she began exhibiting signs of schizophrenia, likely inherited from her mother. When she was 11, she was taken in by her mother's sister and her husband. However, she had a difficult relationship with her aunt and uncle, and at 16, she ran away from home and married her high school sweetheart, James Dougherty. After getting married, she moved in with her new husband's family. Her aunt soon found her and told her that she was going to return her to the orphanage if she did not move back in with her. So Norma decided to return to her aunt and uncle's home. She had a very difficult time adjusting to living there again, and soon after moved out. By this time, she had secured a job at a munitions factory, but was ultimately fired after her co-workers complained about her spending too much time socializing instead of working. In 1944, she met movie starlet and model Paula Strasberg and became friends with her. Strasberg introduced Monroe to acting classes and modeling gigs. And in 1946, Monroe signed with the Blue Book modeling agency and got her first paid modeling job for a magazine cover. She became one of the top models in the country and caught the eye of Ben Lyon, vice president of 20th Century Fox. Lyon offered her a movie contract, and under the guidance of the Fox publicity department, she created the persona that would become Marilyn Monroe. Her first film, Dangerous Years, was released in 1947. Though she was billed as a co-star, she had very little screen time. Over the next couple of years, she appeared in several films, including The Shocking Miss Pilgrim and the movie that finally brought her recognition, Ladies of the Chorus. By 1950, she was a bona fide movie star and signed a contract for 7 more movies with 20th Century Fox. In 1951, she starred in the comedy film The Asphalt Jungle. While filming, she developed feelings for her co-star, the notorious bad boy of Hollywood, Montgomery Clift. They were both married at the time, but began having an affair anyway. Her publicist discovered that she was seeing Clift and quickly concocted a plan to protect her image. They leaked false rumors that she was engaged to boxer Joe Louis. Later that same year, Monroe starred alongside Clift in the film A Place in the Sun. During the filming of this movie, she developed feelings for her other co-star, director George Cukor. All 3 of them, Monroe, Clift, and Cukor, traveled to New York City together to promote the film. While there, photographers snapped pictures of the 2 of them outside of the studio. Back in Los Angeles, the studio head showed the pictures to Monroe and told her that she was no longer allowed to be seen with Cukor or Clift ever again. He also told her that she needed to start acting more demure and less wild. Monroe felt trapped by the demands of the studio and her personal relationships and entered a state of depression. Her therapist recommended that she take a break from Hollywood and travel to New York to appear on the Steve Allen Show. There she met playwright Arthur Miller. The 2 of them began corresponding while she was on tour, and by December, she returned to Hollywood. She immediately began seeing Miller, although he was still married to his first wife. She separated from her 3rd husband, baseball player Joe DiMaggio, and soon after, Miller divorced his wife. On January 1st, 1956, Marilyn Monroe and Arthur Miller were married. She was now struggling to maintain her film career as her mental health continued to deteriorate. Her last film, The Misfits, was a complete flop, both critically and commercially. She and Miller traveled to Europe to get away from the harsh reviews and public scrutiny. When they returned to New York, they hosted a party for 40 of their closest friends. Among the guests were writers Truman Capote and Gore Vidal. During the course of the evening, Monroe changed several times in and out of a dress designed by famed fashion designer Jean Louis. Capo was inspired to write a novella based on the evening and titled it Breakfast at Tiffany's. After the party, Monroe retreated to her bedroom and called her doctor. She told him that she hadn't been feeling well lately and couldn't stop crying. He prescribed her some pills and sent them over with a nurse. This was the beginning of her serious drug and alcohol abuse. Monroe struggled to stay sober and managed to make it through the entire year without relapsing. But in June of 1962, she checked into the psychiatric unit of the New York hospital, otherwise known as Bellevue. She stayed there for a week before being transferred to a private hospital in Connecticut. After 6 weeks of treatment, she was released and returned to Hollywood. She was determined to turn her life around and get back to work. She hired a new agent, Pat Newcomb, and began seeing a new psychiatrist, Dr. Arnold Mandel. She took small roles in a couple of new films and seemed to be turning her life around. Then tragedy struck. On August 4th, 1962, at 3:20 a.m., Marilyn Monroe was found dead in her bedroom from a barbiturate overdose. She had been alone in her house on the 12300 block of 5th Helena Drive in Brentwood, Los Angeles. No foul play was suspected, and the coroner's report listed the cause of death as probable suicide. To this day, there are conspiracy theories surrounding her untimely demise, but we may never know exactly what happened that night. On August 8, 1962, more than 10,000 people lined up to pay their respects at the funeral home where she lay in state. The crowds were so large that it was difficult for her family and friends to enter the building. Following a private funeral, she was buried in the Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery. 5 years later, Miller visited her grave and said, "I'm glad we had our moments, our wonderful moments." Indeed, Marilyn Monroe left us with some wonderful moments. She remains one of the most recognizable faces and enduring icons of the 20th century. Her beauty, charm, and comedic timing continue to entertain and inspire us today. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Which was your favorite Marilyn Monroe movie? Let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of this house. I would also like to take a moment to say a special thank you to our supporters whose names you can see on screen right now. If you would like to see your name on the screen and show the world your support for this house, join our membership program today. I'll see you next time.